Welcome to this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have with us Emily McSherry. She's the founder of Advize, a career platform, and we learn from her about how one can future-proof their career, get actionable strategies to help Generation Z and navigate careers with clarity and confidence. Welcome to the show, Emily.
Thank you. Excited to be here.
You're welcome. Welcome to the show. Welcome to India in this online form. And I'm sure not just in India, but a lot of people across the globe will benefit from what we are going to talk right now. We'll talk about smarter career strategies for Generation Z. We'll learn all that from you. But before that, let's learn a bit about your journey, your story, so that people know who they are listening to.
Yes. So essentially, the story behind Advize came from my own pain I experienced growing up for my career. I did grow up in a very small town with no stoplights in Central Texas, which was amazing, but there wasn't a lot of successful business people around me, right? So I kind of had to pave my own path, look for my own insights. And it wasn't until I moved to Los Angeles after college and worked 7 years in the recruitment industry that I realized this huge gap that exists is that when people talk to professionals and ask them questions and hear their stories, they learn so much about careers and if that career is for them. But a lot of things are holding students back from doing that in college when they're supposed to be doing coffee chats. And that's kind of when the idea hit me is, wow, what if we took those stories and put them on video? What if we took the coffee chat on video, made it super searchable and easy to access information from thousands of professionals at the ease of a student's fingertips or in the classroom, so then they can go forth and have real conversations with confidence, apply to the right jobs and pick the right career with confidence. And now we're in almost 20 universities in the United States being used in classrooms of thousands of students. And we also have a free version for any student to go on and watch this content, engage with it and learn. So it's been an exciting journey to date, but we're really in growth mode and looking forward to continuing our growth and helping students all over the world.
Right. We'll talk about your platform, but first let's talk about the expertise part. Is that, how are students finding it difficult that a external thing has to come in? Means, are the universities not equipped for it? What are the challenges that they are facing? And if we are talking about AI, then students can also use the AI in their own way and find things for themselves. Even the job platforms, they are full of AI and all. Why can't they do it? Help us understand from that point of what is it that lacks right now? What is it that, external platforms are finding that gap and trying to fill it?
The fact that your question had a lot loaded in there, right? It is complicated and messy at schools and jobs for students. There's a lot of noise in the market right now. People don't understand how AI is impacting jobs. In America, at least with the education system, the government and the education system are not really in sync anymore. There's a lot of change going on. And when there's a lot of change going on and the job market's crazy, it's just all kind of crazy, right? But no matter about the job market now versus COVID versus whenever, the problem that we see that exists, that AI, that nothing else is addressing, is this barrier to the skill set and the access to information of conducting a coffee chat, of conducting an informational interview with real people. The best and most high quality information comes from people who do that thing, right? Kind of like a podcast, right? You're pulling insights from and capturing knowledge from all of these people. But the problem is students or younger people especially don't know how to do that. They don't even understand what to ask someone. They're not taught in school how to break the ice with someone, to go grab a coffee with someone, to go students know today that to get a job, they have to network, period, right? It's super competitive. But what does that mean? Students are overwhelmed and don't have confidence and are confused on how to do this. And so that's really where we see a majority of the problem. So out of the 15 million students in the US, 11.5 million students, or about 75%, don't even do one live networking call or coffee chat or informational interview in college, even though the Career Center, the world is preaching that you have to do this to be successful. And it's not that students don't want to. A lot of them are trying, a lot of them do. I did when I was in school. But I could even paint a picture of myself I was a double business major with honors. I was a state championship athlete. I had 4 internships. I was shaking trying to figure out who to talk to, what to ask them, because I had no idea what the business world really was. I just knew I needed to talk to people. And so through our video content and showing people how to have these conversations, seeing 5 people in consulting talk about what's challenging about it or what they like about it in a couple minutes, students can pick up on what questions to ask. They also learn what something actually is, not just what ChatGPT says or what a job description says or what their parents told them it was. They're hearing real information from real people who are also interviewing on video, and they can actually see a real consultant who's at McKinsey talking about it while they're at work. So all of those things contribute to students not only learning about that position and real job literacy or career literacy, right? Like, what does this role mean? What does this company mean? What is a job title? But they're also picking up on how people talk, what questions they ask, what information they share, and how they conduct themselves on video. And we're seeing students when they watch and learn on video, because that's their number one method of how they're engaging with content these days. It's what they're comfortable with. Then they somewhat replicate what they're seeing. They kind of copy it in real life and go do it. And that's when the real human connection happens. And so we're kind of meeting them where they're at to help with these challenges to get them to those real conversations so they can have a successful career, because they're going to need to network and they're going to need to talk to people and they're going to need to think about more than one career to pursue to get a job in this current market.
Right. Let's look at, you talk about 3 career mistakes that you see students making right now and how they can avoid them. Can you tell us about these career mistakes? And if someone doesn't know how to talk, then they need those classes to learn about, rather than, at the end, it will be like, data crunching in a few moments, rather than, understanding the data. That is, so tell us about those mistakes, and then we can talk about the other things that they are facing. And are videos the only solution for that?
Sure. So a very common mistake that I took to heart when I was in school is waiting too long, right? And what I mean is waiting too long to be curious and get experience. In America, especially, you don't get hired just because you went to Harvard anymore. You get hired based on what you bring to the table. And so if you're not bringing anything to the table, then why am I going to hire you, right? So I need experience. I need demonstration that you've done stuff. I don't really care. Actually, I do care what it is. Obviously, there's different things, but the fact that you're doing something sets you apart, right? So get experience. Even as a freshman, I got internship experience. And even though that never translated to anything, it helped me figure out what I didn't want. It gave me something to talk about and start building a network. So I think waiting too long to get experience is a major, major error. And like waiting too long. Otherwise, you're competing with people who have started talking to companies and getting experience for years. And you're doing this at the end of graduation. You're just going to get behind. I would say the second piece kind of tied to that, and the whole problem overall with that I see, is this struggle between academia and work and like the business world, right? Not saying that academia is not important, because it is. Getting grades is important. But I always try to think of the goal, and I want students to think about what goals they have. If you know you probably want to do something that's going to require good grades, then yes, good grades should matter a ton. But if you know you want to become a salesperson or an entrepreneur and you're spending all your time trying to get A's, is that really lined up with your goals? So I really encourage students to think about how they're spending their time and consider if their efforts should really be getting A's in chemistry if they want to become a salesperson, or if it's joining the sales club, right? So thinking about grades not as I get A's, I get a job, because that's just not what it is. But think about what your experiences and your grades are, and if that tries to lead you to your goal. An example about myself is, even though I wanted to be an entrepreneur, I've known that for a very long time. I double majored in entrepreneurship in undergrad, started businesses when I was in school that completely failed, but I tried, right? I experimented. I always thought I wanted to go to graduate school, right? I just knew that's something I wanted to do, and I didn't really know what. So for me, I knew I needed to get good grades in order to have that profile to get a top MBA like I did at UCLA Anderson, right? But that's not everyone. I'm trying to think of like the last real mistake I would say people make, and I don't think this has changed. Depending on how the market is or anything like that. At the end of the day, relationships are so important, and you need relationships to get a job, kind of tying it back into the whole theme of this episode. But when I started my business, for example, 7 years after I graduated from undergrad, and I needed help. I needed people to interview for my business. I needed connections to get sales. I had to pull on my own network. And luckily, I was able to reach out and find about 200 people that were willing to interview for my business, just because I had some sort of connection with them, right? And so I think it's a mistake to take relationships and the opportunities around you for granted in whatever environment you're in, because those relationships and that network, if you start building it right away, it will continue to build, and you can use it to your advantage in the future. And it's hard for students to realize that early on, but I can't preach it enough.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Emily. Now let's talk about, you talk about AI is revolutionizing career guidance. Why does AI come in? Where does AI come in? And then we'll talk about your company. How is AI impacting? Wasn't it before also in some way or the other? A lot of searches were being done, not in that mass scale, but even earlier, all the platforms, including LinkedIn, maybe now the scale has gone up. But I want to understand now, what's the difference between earlier times, before, say, ChatGPT, and right now? How is AI actually helping in career guidance? Or is it just a name and actually making students move away from networking in real life that you say your videos are doing?
Right. Yeah, I would say a couple trends I'm seeing. I think the positive of AI and ChatGPT is now, when a student's trying to do some research, kind of like anything else in life, right? We don't have to Google search it and read a bunch of articles. We can just get exactly what we need, our questions exactly answered, or like quicker insights on what to click and maybe what to explore across all the different things out there, including Advize, right? Like we could pop up as, hey, you want videos of people that do this? Click here, right? So I think that's extremely beneficial. It'll pull from Reddit and all these other things to help give a more well-rounded answer about what is already online, which I think is helpful and saves a lot of time. The problems, I think it's creating, the biggest one I see for not just students, but recruitment overall, is there are these companies, right, coming out with, everyone's trying to create an AI tool, right? They want to be the next big AI thing and like beat it to market. So people are doing this with resume and job applications, right? And they're doing it on the other side as well. So saying like, we'll use AI to help you find the best candidate out of these applications. And then people on the beginning side, the supply side, are using AI to apply to jobs, which all sounds great, right? And right now it's super trendy, right? Oh, wow, I can use AI to comb through all these job descriptions and build me the perfect resume without me having to do this manually, which sounds great, right? But imagine this, before AI, the amount of LinkedIn job applications per minute was 250 job applications per minute in the world. And now it is 12,000 per minute. So it's actually making it harder, in my opinion, for people to be noticed and stand out. And it's also making it harder on the recruiters who are now like, wow, these 100 people all look great. But are they actually great? The candidates don't even necessarily know what they're applying to. They are just mass applying and making this more complicated to the point where I don't even know how valuable the resume will be if they all look great.
Absolutely. They all look great. And that is why a lot of companies are using AI itself to, do that shortlisting. And in some places now, the trend is that the first initial interview will be done by the AI itself. So a candidate uses AI to apply, and then the company lists it through an AI tool. And then again, the first round of interview, that shortlisting is being done by AI itself. Many people do not like it. That's a different debate here. But let's now talk about your company. How is your company utilizing artificial intelligence there? You talk about AI. You also talk about video. Where does it all fit in together that helps students?
Yes, our approach to our business and AI is keeping real, authentic content and stories at the core. So we're not doing any sort of generative AI, right? We're not creating something out of other content. All of our content is like you and I talking right here. It's like if I asked you, what do you like about hosting your Masterclass show? What's challenging about this? And it's real people answering real questions. And we're doing this at scale in a standardized format to create a really unique data set that does not exist anywhere else. So we're really the first place where we have almost 1,000 people answering the same questions, and they're all cut question by question. So you can see real people in investment banking answer what they like about investment banking, not going on AI or LinkedIn or social media to search this. And sure, maybe you'll find a video here, a video there, but you're not seeing 3 people in a standardized way answering it in a measurable, consistent format. And on our site, you will know that they are real people sharing real information. So that's the one thing. And so the way that we use AI today is we use it to help students get to the right content, right? So they tell us what are they studying, or what are they interested in studying? What industries are they interested in? And then we have an open chat box where they can type in anything they want us to know. And we run those words across the transcript data of our 10,000 plus videos and recommend content to them. So somewhat like a Netflix, right? Like you watch this, you get this. TikTok, you watch this, you get this. So we use it really as a recommendation engine to make the experience better, but not to create anything fake in an already kind of fake growing space, I would say, where people are making all this generative AI interview stuff and pretending this is what someone does every day. Like I'm sure there's a cool space for that, but we're really focused on staying real and using AI to make the real better.
Absolutely. And how do students know what they want? Means, is it they could search anywhere? Why onto your website? I mean, how would they know? Okay, this is what I want, or is it that you guide there is some sort of intuitive way that your platform guides them?
Yeah, that's a great question. And we're actually coming out with a new experience soon to really nail this down, because that is what we saw was what we talked to a bunch of students after being live for a year, and we wanted that feedback, right? Like, And they told us, we don't want more content, we want more guidance. We want less noise, right? Because there's so much noise out there. And like they want to be able to, to your point, narrow things down, figure out what they want. And so we've been really digging into that. And I'm not going to explain the whole process, but there's a couple things that we know that will work, that are bite-sized, that maybe don't give the full answer, but get them closer. And one of the things that we're doing in the new experience that we are very confident about and excited about is people know what they don't want more than what they do want. So we actually have a little phase in the quiz that we're doing where it's just saying, hey, you told us a couple things about you. Tell us a couple things from watching these clips that you do not want, for sure. So that's an example of like one of the ways that we get students closer to what they do want, is helping them figure out quickly in a comfortable, easy learning environment on our platform what they don't want. So at least they're starting to eliminate things. And when you eliminate things, you get closer to what you want, because to your point, there's so many things to think about with a job. And I think it's very overwhelming, even for us, right? Like I think even for professionals, there's so many aspects to a job. So we're trying to keep it simple and fun and have them think about like what their North Star is, and then figure out, okay, I definitely do not want to talk to clients all day. Like I do not want to talk to people. You know, that's a big step. It helps narrow a bunch of careers down and helps them feel more confident.
Right. How do things work on the ground after that? Means you said you were an athlete. So if you see some videos of, others running, you will like it. You will feel as if, you can do it, but it does not translate to actually, getting down on the ground until actually go and do it yourself. So if I watch some videos of all those top shots doing what they do in their in the day that they are doing, how does it take me forward? Which is my next step? Who guides me at that level? Because I can feel inspired. I can do, okay, this guy is from such a big company doing this, but then how do I take the next step there? Or just videos. Are there any ways where they can get that help in taking the other steps towards becoming or doing or taking that same career path that one of their mentors, online mentors, we can say that, have actually told them on a video?
Yes, you're totally right. And we can lead a horse to water, right? That's an American saying. You can lead a horse to water, right? But actually, I actually love this point, because when we work with universities, they have career teams. They have people hired who are very passionate, and it is their job to help these students get jobs and be coached. So anytime anyone's ever been like, you're existing, you're trying to replace me, which actually not really a lot of people have said, because I always position it well. I'm like, you're going to be needed. The same way I think a recruiter is going to be needed, even with all these AI tools. Like you still need that person to help guide. And so in our platform, we can't be there in person for every single student. We can get it into the classroom, help with usage. And then we partner with the universities to help them make that connection. And we're trying to figure out how to do that more and more, right? Is that if there's a way to do it through the platform and measure it and encourage it. The way that we do it in our platform today is if you really vibe with someone and you're like, oh, that's who I want to talk to, that's what I want to do, we have our professionals share their LinkedIn link or their own information, and they give us a thumbs up, like we put a badge on their profile. Yes, students can reach out to me. I am down to talk to the student. So the opportunity is sitting right there for those who want to take advantage of it. We have had several hundred students click that, and we want to keep pushing that and maybe even help them take that step with the platform without the school. But that's what we have right now. And that's something that we want to keep getting better at, to have that real next step, because that's when we know it's really having more impact. An example of how we are partnering with schools, however, and I wish every school had this. So whenever I'm working with the school and I hear that they have this, I get really excited because I'm like, we are going to work really well together and we're going to have so much value. Is some schools have these required career classes for all freshmen, for all MBAs, for all their students. And when that is a thing, we are embedded into that class, and we actually provide, they can use Advize and the tools we've created to create an assignment. And this assignment is basically taking combinations of content, asking the students to watch whatever they would like, or watch these certain industry playlists, kind of whatever the coach or the program person wants them to do or explore. And then there's reflection questions, including how is this going to help you have a real conversation? And then the next assignment is them actually going to talk to people. So if we could do that, every school, that would be amazing, and or figure out how to do that without even the school. But those are the situations where we're seeing this have the most impact, and we're continuing to measure that impact.
Absolutely, absolutely. Two last questions, Emily. One is that who is this platform for? Only for students, or is it also for a lot of other people who are around students? That question. Secondly, as a business, what is the business model here? Why, as this is, I see a couple of other, platforms like this trying to solve this sort of a problem in their own way. What is your business model here? Where do you make money? Because you can't just keep on, giving it to people, and finally you have to make money. To help us understand from these points of view.
Yes. So the platform, the reason I say students, and it is primarily for students, is because of how we've decided to build the business model. We were thinking, so at the very beginning of this, you have a lot of decisions to make when you're building a company, making the vision, deciding your mission, your values, that sort of stuff. And so one thing for me was, I don't believe this information should be behind a paywall, because the people who need it the most aren't going to be able to pay it, right? And so I didn't want to be that kind of business. I didn't want to be this like elite, students, parents paying us the money, and that's how we make money. So that was kind of the first thing that I knew in my gut. And so then we started thinking about, well, who is going to pay for this, right? Like who is going to pay for this? And so because this is so closely tied to jobs, right? The university level to us made so much sense, because those students are the ones who are really going to school to get a job. It is where you get a partnership with one school, you get access to potentially 100,000 students and a big brand that companies care about. And you have these schools, and the schools are the ones who really care about investing in the students and getting them the job. So that's kind of how we built our strategy around including our business model. So we have a free version, right? That doesn't mean everything's free. We have a free version where anyone can get in. You don't need to be a student. We have plenty of K through 12 high schoolers, parents, job switchers who can go on and use our platform. We actually have people who have interviewed as professionals use our platform and then also interview with us. They find us because they interviewed with us, and then they're actually trying to pivot into something else, and they're like, wow, I actually use this as a user as well. So anyone can do that. I encourage anyone on here to definitely go check it out so you can see what we're talking about. Business model wise, we do annual subscriptions with universities. And so those subscriptions come at all different levels. We have a very basic entry level where they get a special student branded access portal where they need to use their school email to log in. They pay for reporting and analytics on the back end. So what are their students watching? What are they learning? Who's the most watched person on Advize from our students? What are they searching by? Kind of like their own YouTube channel, right? Like, what are the analytics on my YouTube channel? And they can also pay for a premium YouTube channel where we actually hire and pay a current student intern of the school, and we will go create alumni content up for that school as well. So I would say most schools get really excited about that piece, because there's nothing really like that, where we will actually hire a student of yours, pay them, train them, we'll pay them to network with 50 alum and have them create 600 unique career clips of them on video answering questions, and then provide you all the analytics on the backside. So that is how we make money with the schools. And we are coming out with an employer product here soon to help with the job application challenge, where we want to use employee content, and we create something basically showing what candidates are engaging with the content to cut through the AI application noise. So providing a solution from what we were talking about earlier, using real content and flagging real people, and not using AI to analyze AI. So we're just coming out with that now, and we're looking for our early pilot partners on that, with the intention to have some monthly reoccurring revenue as we slowly build up our school partners, which takes a lot of work.
Absolutely, absolutely. There's so much to learn about all this from you, Emily, and I'm sure a lot of people would want to understand this better from you. Also, try your platform, be your client if possible for them. What's the best way for them to do so?
Yes, the best way to reach me would be by email, which is emily@advisehub.com. That's advise with a Z, advisehub.com. And to follow along with us, I would say subscribing to our LinkedIn newsletter would be the best way. So again, Advize on LinkedIn. We have our newsletter right there, and you'll get weekly updates highlighting our content. It's where we highlight some of our best people that interview, share updates, case studies, information, and all the good stuff to stay in touch.
Wonderful. With this, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.